Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Almira Gasani Sabina Romala and I'm from English Letters Department, Universitas Sanata Dharma Yogyakarta. In this occasion, I would like to present my research entitled Portraying Nature by the Foot of the Cibalak Hill, the ideology and strategies in the English translation of selected Ahmad Tohari's works. My background of my research is first, in literary works, we would find identity, culture that is bound to the works. The identity shows the author and also the national identity that is depicted in the story of the literary works, and it has a rich culture that is also one of the aspects to show the identity. And when we are talking about culture in literary works, the culture is sometimes often seen in certain culture-related terms or culture-specific items. And these terms and also words shows the specific culture and also the identity of the author and also the national identity. And it will be a problem when we translate these words with the richness of the culture-related terms to another language. So if we are talking about translation and translating activity, so it will bridge the gaps between culture. So not only translating the language from source language to the target language, but also a translator should transfer the culture to another culture of the readers or the target language. Okay, so let's continue with the notion of culture. Culture is the way of life and its expressions that are unique to a group that employs a specific language as its means of expression. And the translation issues emerge when there is a cultural divide or distance between the source language and the target language. Hence, to make the target language readers understand about the culture depicted in the original text, there must be a special ideology and strategies that employed in the translation. Usually, the strategies and also ideologies is specifically employed in culture-specific items in the works, and these items or these terms involves words that are fall under ecology, material culture, social organization, gesture, and habits of the culture. And in this research, the limitation of the study is we only focus on the nature terms, so it falls under the classification of ecology. So because of the limitation of the study and the duration of the research, we only focus on the nature terms, which involves the mention of the name of plants and also animals in the story. And in translating culture-specific items and to deal with the culture words, with the culture-related terms, there are two primary translation ideologies that can be used. They are domestication and foreignization. When we are talking about foreignization and domestication proposed by Venuti, there are two poles that can be used by the translator. When a translator uses domestication, it means he translates the term into the target language, but in the foreignization, the translator maintains the foreign words with a specific purposes. And this ideology can be accompanied by translation strategies. One of the theories are from Baker. She proposes cultural substitution, paraphrase using a related word, superordinate, and so on. For the translation strategies, there are 8 categories by Baker. For example, the first one, cultural substitution, is very often used in translating works. It comprises cultural elements that are identical to those found outside the target text environment. And there are also some examples of paraphrase using related and unrelated words. Using paraphrase will entail a summary of the words in the target text, and superordinate it can be used when the data contains ideas with no equivalence in the target text. And then loan word, so this translate the idea and it must be explained when we use the loan word plus explanation and use the borrowing words from the source text. And there are also another strategies that can be used to translate some specific terms in literary works. And this research uses these two main theories for the analysis from Venuti's translation ideology, domestication and foreignization, and also Baker's translation strategies, because it's very important when we talk about culture-specific items, like what is the ideology and how to translate it. And the object of the research, the source text is the Kaki Bukit Cibalak, which is first published in 1994 and written by Ahmad Tohari, one of the most prominent author in Indonesia. And the target text titled By the Foot of the Cibalak Hill, that is published in 2015. Right. In this translation of the Kaki Bukit Cibalak, we will find there are abundant of examples of translation of the culture-specific items that can be found both in domestication and foreignization. So it's important and interesting to analyze this. And let's move to the results and discussion. So from the analysis, it is found that both domestication and foreignization are employed in translating the culture-specific items in By the Foot of the Cibalak Hill. And for the domestication, mostly the strategies used are culture substitution, and for foreignization, it's used the translator uses loan words but without explanation. So let's take a look at the example of domestication found in the translation of the nature terms in By the Foot of the Cibalak Hill. In the English translation of the nature terms in the English translation of the Kaki Bukit Cibalak, the ideal used by the translator is a balance between domestication and foreignization. It shows that the translator aims to achieve certain goals. Moreover, in transferring the nature terms from Bahasa Indonesia to English, the translator employs several translation strategies to convey the ideology of the translation, whether it is domestication or foreignization. The strategies found are cultural substitution, omission, and loan words. The first part of the discussion explains the data in domestication and the strategies applied to achieve this ideology. The examples are shown in the table on the screen. The first one, kerbau, is translated into water buffalo, and it is an example of domestication by using culture substitution. So Ahmad Tohari in his works is famous for describing the nature of the setting where the story takes place. He creatively describes the surroundings to show the beauty of the nature and environment. In the Kaki Bukit Cibalak, there is a scene which the author describes Tanggir village, which involves the ambience of the rice field in which the buffaloes often pass by. In the source text, the word kerbau is translated into water buffalo. Thus, in translating this term, the translator uses domestication in transferring kerbau into water buffalo and by applying cultural substitution. It is done as the cultural elements that are identical to those found outside the target text environment. Still related to the kerbau explanation, the second example, hutan jati, is also translated in domestication as forest. There is a distortion of meaning in the translation as forest only refer to hutan, so without translating the word jati. So it also applies omission. It occurs probably because the introduction of Tangger village owning many teak trees is done in the previous part. So the explanation of teak or jati is not needed. So the author simplifies the setting of place by translating it to the forest, which is considered that the distortion is not that significant in changing the reader's understanding of the plot of the story. And another term that is also translated in domestication is rumput into fresh grass and also umbut gelagah into sugarcane roots. So the word or the terms rumput and umbut gelagah is used to describe the traits of the water buffalo in the story. And these nature terms provide the target readers with the familiar words, fresh grass and sugarcane fruits. So in rumput to fresh grass, the translator adds the word fresh to intensify the description of the setting of place, as it may help the readers imagine and feel the freshness and the breeze while within the passage. While umbut gelagah is translated into sugarcane roots to help the reader to understand the original term, and it supports the atmosphere of the story where it takes place. So it can be concluded that in domestication, the translator used cultural substitution as there is a similar term or similar concept found in the target text. And with some adjustment like omission and also and also for the foreignization, there are several foreignization found in the story, and these are some of the examples. In the table on the screen, it can be seen that the term belukar puyengan is still maintained as puyengan basis. So puyengan here is maintained by the translator, so it's foreignization. And the strategies are loan word and cultural substitution. So belukar translated into basis is the cultural substitution, but for puyengan that is maintained is loan word. Okay, and even if the term puyengan is alien and foreign, the use will not affect the reading experience, as the term belukar puyengan is used to introduce the beginning of the story, which delineates the setting of the story. As the description focuses on the nature of Indonesia, therefore it is understood why the translator uses foreignization. Besides, it is difficult to translate the term, and to compensate, the translator transferred the word belukar into basis with the strategy of cultural substitution to help the readers that puyengan that is being taught is a type of plant or basis. And similar to belukar puyengan, the term burung-burung kucica in the second example is also translated by employing a loan word strategy, as can be seen on the table on the screen. And actually, it is interesting to see that burung-burung kucica, or the Latin name is Erythacus rubecula, is translated by using foreignization and maintaining the Indonesian name for the birds. Kucica birds, which can be found in the KBBI, Kamus Besar Bahasa Indonesia. I found the Latin name there, and it is similar to robin birds. So it's not only found in Indonesia, but also in other parts of the world as their habitat. This might be understood that probably the translator again wants to show the Indonesian nature by using the local name for the animals, although robin is already a common name for the type of birds, rather than to make the readers easily understand the term by just using robin to translate it. The local name Kucica is maintained through a loanword strategy to show the richness and diversity of Indonesian nature. Therefore, it can be seen that the foreignization in By the Foot of the Cibalak Hill is mostly done through loanword strategy, with a part of cultural substitution as the compensation to help the readers understand the translated terms and also the maintained terms, like the local name from Belukar Puyengan and also Burung-burung Kucica. Okay, move to the conclusion. The Kaki Bukit Cibalak is one of the works of Ahmad Tohari that sits in a village with its richness of nature and Indonesian culture. Therefore, it is a challenge to translate the terms that are related to the culture, such as nature. Both domestication and foreignization done in the English translation have different characteristics and function. Domestication, although sometimes entails a distortion of meaning, is mostly employed with the cultural substitution strategy applied to translate the nature terms that have the counterparts or similar terms in English. Foreignization, on the other hand, maintains the nature term by using loan words and compensating the common terms by translating them using a cultural substitution strategy. The foreignization is used to maintain the typical and local name of Indonesian plants and animals to show the Indonesian-ness in the English translation. And that is to portray the richness and the diversity of Indonesian nature to a wider audience. That's all from me. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. Thank you and see you in the question and answer session.